world's conscious broadcasting network. Live on iTunes and archived on iHeartRadio. The voice of consciousness. And now, join Shay Parker's Best of the Best, offering celebrity guests, lively discussions, hot topics, free psychic readings, and expert guest hosts. Simply the best in spiritual and metaphysical talk radio. Listen live on your phone or device using our universal mobile player. No app needed. Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Find out more at bestamericanpsychics.com.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to tonight's show. This is your host, Shay Parker, and I want to thank everybody for joining this show with us right here tonight. Now, we are having a little bit of technical issues here, so I am going to try and add our guest in again, and I apologize for the delay and any confusion here that may actually be happening. So let me go ahead and try to do that. And in the meantime, yes, today is Tuesday, February 16th, and we are going to try and get this show started tonight, folks. I have a very special guest with me that hopefully I'll be able to add to the show. And her name is Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. So let me see if I can get her back with us here, because I am just not quite sure what is happening. It's a little crazy, but I'm going to go ahead. Hold on one second here. And in the meantime, what I'd like everybody to do is go to therockgirl.com, because I might actually have her live with us now. Oh, is that you?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello.
All right. There we go. Yes. Welcome to the show. I was just telling our listeners out there tonight that we've had a little bit of technical difficulties. I don't know if I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we are here now and we are live. And folks, as I was saying, my guest here this evening is Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. She can be found directly at therockgirl.com. She is an international medium, teacher, healer. She's actually a master teacher. She is the founder of the Sacred Stone School, which is sacredstoneschool.com. And she is also going to be one of our guest hosts right here on Best of the Best. So she's going to be telling us tonight about the show that she's going to be doing with us, The Rock Girl Unleashed, and that is going to be the second Tuesday of every month. So, no, actually, I'm sorry, the first Tuesday of every month. We ended up changing the schedule around a little bit. So the first Tuesday of every month, Allison's going to be guest hosting right here on Best of the Best. And I'm going to go ahead and let Allison, well, we're going to talk a little bit about the show later in tonight's very short hour. Unfortunately, there's never enough time. But in the meantime, before we get to all that, I would actually like people to get to know Allison a little bit better. So I know we got started a little bit late tonight, and we've got about 7 minutes or so before before we have to go to our first break. But Allison, can you tell the listeners tonight a little bit about who you are and kind of how you got to where you are right now, and then we'll get into the show a little bit later?
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Allison. My friends call me the Rock Girl, and I know Shay gave out both websites, therockgirl.com and sacredstoneschool.com. I'm a psychic, and I work with stones. I don't like to call them crystals because crystals are a type of stone, and there's stones and then there's crystals. So I'm going to call them stones and rocks. And I do psychic work. I do healing work. I'm a Reiki Grandmaster. And a lot of people ask me what that is. And I've basically been practicing Reiki since I've been 17 years old. I've taken Reiki actually 1 through Master for 17 times. And I practiced for, almost 30 years now. And so as a Reiki Grandmaster, you have to be attuned by a Reiki Grandmaster. And I studied here in the United States and also over in the UK for many years. And after many years of study and experience, I had the honor of being initiated as a Reiki Grandmaster. And basically what that is, it's a bigger bandwidth ability to run energy. And I always like to mention that because the Reiki has really changed my life. It helped me have a deeper connection with Mother Earth, with the stones, and with the psychic, with the spirit world. And it has increased. I wouldn't be a psychic today if it wasn't for the Reiki. So I really have to pay homage to that. And I basically had an office in New York City, which I still have, but I've relocated to Asheville. So I go back and forth, and I've had the great blessing of building the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School here in Asheville, which is an even bigger place than the Rock Room in New York City, filled with stones. And I do classes and workshops here and throughout the country, and actually globally now. I go to Japan actually a lot. I'm going 3-4 times this year. And so that's kind of what I do. And I've, I always tell people I thank you, Shay Parker, for allowing me to be part of Best American Psychics. And it's kind of a joke now, but it wasn't when it happened. I remember I applied as a member to become a member or an application for Best American Psychics after I was turned down from like 2 or 3 other places. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, but you should follow that up with you were turned down without them even meeting you. I mean, they didn't even give you a chance. It's not like you were turned down because you were a poor psychic. You were turned down because they were being very judgmental. So there's a big difference there.
Yeah. It's funny because they said that I read rocks and that I wasn't really a psychic. And so I remember I was licking my paws and all sad and stuff. But it was Best American Psychics that actually tested me. It's quite funny because way back then, what was that, 8-9 years ago, you were doing the testing. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do remember. Yeah, that was actually... It wasn't quite 9 years ago, but it was a while ago. And yeah, I mean, folks out there listening, Allison has actually been our Psychic of the Year as well for 2 years running. And she's been actually right now, I believe you're our longest standing member. So yeah, I mean, you have been with us since the very beginning, which is fantastic. And, you've certainly set a wonderful path, if you will, for the rest of the people that have come behind you. So, and are still, many of them are still with us as well. So, it's been a great ride, and we hope to travel together for many more years to come. So it's all good stuff. But, yeah, well, listen, I want to go back to what you said earlier about the Reiki, and you made a little kind of joke about, well, they said I'm not really a psychic, but I would like you to clarify that a little bit more for the listeners, because you are in fact a psychic. But can you explain to them? I mean, I obviously already know, but can you explain to them how you get your psychic messages?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because people have asked me that, and that's why I started teaching psychic development many years ago. Psychics get their information from the spirit world in many different ways, and I can just tell you how I get them, and by no means does that speak for anyone else. What I have learned to do is I open up a Reiki channel from above and below, and I run the energy through me. And I've learned throughout the years, and again, my Reiki training has taught me how to change the channels of energy. So I can channel healing energy, I can channel divine energy, I can channel earth energy, I can channel the frequencies of stones. And what happened is it also helped me channel the energy of psychic guides and then also loved ones who have passed over. So I have the psychic channel where I tune into your guides. Then I use my intention to change the channel, and I can change the frequency of the energy that I run through me to speak to loved ones who passed over. That would be mediumship. And then I also can change the channel again. And again, a lot of people can learn how to do this with proper training. And I can do past lives as well. So just like you have a clicker on the TV, the remote, and you can use your intent to change the buttons on there, I use that to change my intention intention of what I want to channel. And I love the psychic readings because you get to do past, present, future for people on the earthly plane and really help them tap into their life and reach their greatest potential and foresee problems. And, after the break, maybe we can talk about this a little bit more. Like a lot of people say, I don't want to go to a psychic because I don't want bad news. Well, the psychics aren't going to tell you bad news to ruin your day. Your guides are there to offer you the information. So it's like saying, hey, there's a traffic jam on 240. Maybe you want to take a different route. So a lot of times, psychic readings that tell you that there's obstacles and challenges coming up can also help you connect to your guides to figure out how you can overcome them. And then, of course, there's mediumship where you connect to loved ones who've passed over. And another channel that I love to kind of read on is the past life channel. It helps you tune into your other lifetimes, not to re-experience all the trauma and drama, but to go back and retrieve the gifts that you have learned in other lifetimes so you can bring them forward and utilize them in this lifetime. So Reiki has opened me up to the ability to channel higher, faster frequency in a more multifaceted and dimensional way so I can tune into a lot of other unseen energies instead of just the ones that are right in front of my face. And so that's basically how I read. And one last thing, I know we have to go to break soon, but I've also learned with Reiki how to bring the messages down in front of me instead of have to kind of channel up and leave my consciousness. So I get the information harder, faster, clearer, and I can deliver it at a greater velocity and speed because I don't have to go up and away and come back into body. Does that make sense?
It does, but I would actually like to elaborate on that a little bit more after the break. But we've got plenty of time for that, so we'll jump right back into that one after the commercial break. But folks, in the meantime, if you're just tuning in, my guest tonight is Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. She can be found directly at therockgirl.com. Very simple website. Also, if you're interested in any of the classes or courses that we're discussing here tonight with Allison, you may check those out at sacredstoneschool.com. Again, that's sacredstoneschool.com. Be sure to return back with us after the break with Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. Don't go away. This is Shay Parker.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
guest. Want to thank everybody for tuning in with us tonight, this Tuesday, February 16th. My guest this evening is Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. She can be found directly at therockgirl.com, or if you're interested in any of her classes or courses, which are many, you can check out sacredstoneschool.com, of which she is the founder. So before the break, Allison, we were discussing a variety of different things, how you connect through Reiki energy, and also how because of that, you don't have to channel way, way up, and you can get the information a lot faster. So, again, I understand what you're saying by that, but can you explain to our listeners, how they may be able to help? Because anybody can learn Reiki, right? I mean, it's open to anyone out there who wants to. You don't have to have a special skill set initially to learn Reiki, correct?
No, actually, the only thing you have to have is an open mind. So that is a requirement, at least in my school. So yes, but Reiki, we all have life force energy. People, have referred to it as chi or mana, and the Japanese refer to it as ki, K-I. And it's really a certain discipline. It's a skill set that runs life force energy through you. And there's many other different modalities of healing out there that deal with life force energy. And this happens to just be a particular one. And there's training to do this particular modality, but I tell people it's not the only modality. Some people really connect to it. There's many different types of Reiki out there, Shay. There's more earth-based, more divine, heart chakra-based. There's many different ways to run Reiki, and every teacher is different. And my advice to people out there is to find the right teacher, and that way they'll learn the right type of Reiki for them. So yeah, as long as you have an open mind and you're open to connecting to the unseen part of the energy, then absolutely, Reiki is definitely readily available. There's gazillions of Reiki teachers out there as well. So yes, that's what I do. And the type of Reiki that I have that I run, I've taken many different types of Reiki from many different people, and so I like to run it from above and below so it runs right through you. A lot of people run it through the crown chakra and out the hands, or down through the crown chakra and out the heart chakra, and mine it runs from top to bottom, and I just lay my hands on folks, and their energy body takes in what they need. So I am simply the channel, but it is by no means the only way of running Reiki. So the answer is yes, indeed, it's there if people are attracted and drawn to it.
Yeah, and you have a variety of different Reiki classes and courses within the Sacred Stone School. So I know that you're in the Asheville area, and and that's Asheville, North Carolina, folks, and also you have the Rock Room up in New York City. So can you elaborate a little bit on those two spaces? Yes.
My first official space was the Rock Room in New York City, and it's a studio located on 44th Street, across the street from the Actors Studio, and it's a little a slice of heaven and earth, so to speak. And I teach private classes, which are 2 to 3 people. I do private readings up there, and I'm there a few times a year, and that's near and dear to my heart. I do believe that you have visited the Rock Room in New York City several times. What would you like to tell people about the Rock Room? How would you describe it?
Yeah, well, it's quite a magical place. I can definitely say that. And it's literally like a little rock museum. There are so many stones in there of all different shapes, sizes, colors, origins. It's actually quite... If anyone is in New York City and you have the chance to stop by there and see it, which is by appointment only, I believe, then absolutely, I would highly recommend it to anyone out there with an interest in, stones or crystals or rocks or all of the above. So that is what I would say about the Rock Room. It's really a phenomenal place. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and we did. I was actually on Cyndi Lauper's reality show called She's Still Unusual, I believe it was called. And we shot the season finale in the Rock Room, and it was me and Cyndi Lauper and her husband and a film crew and a lot of stones. And it was definitely an amplified experience. And so that people can see. I think I have a couple videos of the Rock Room New York City out on YouTube, as well as Cyndi Lauper's finale show. I know I have some still shots of that somewhere that's coming out on my new website. I'm excited about that. And so that's the Rock Room New York City. Now we have the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School down here in Asheville, and it's about a 1,200 square foot space with really tall ceilings and tons and tons and tons of stones, and that's where I do my larger classes. And I've kind of liked the classes to be no more than 15 people, so there is a selection process of first come, first serve, and I like to keep people in groups that kind of energetically link, because it is such an intense experience when you come down to Asheville, number one, and number two, into the Sacred Stone School. And it's interesting because a lot of people have been, coming here for a week or two and just banging out the classes. They'll take Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3. I just had someone book from Spokane, Washington. She wants to take Psychic 1, 2, and 3. And so people really like the destination of Asheville, and they come here to steep in the bosom of Mother Earth, so to speak, as well as take classes and take in the wonderful energy of the mountains. And so, if I'm not in Asheville, sometimes I'm in New York, and then I'm elsewhere sometimes. But where there's a rock, you'll find me. All you have to do is look under a rock and you'll find me.
Well, can you tell our listeners, because I know you have quite a few different sort of on-location things that you do, and you are quite the global traveler. So for those that, I know you're headed to Japan, but for those that won't be going to Japan, can you tell the listeners a little bit about your USA stomping grounds, and perhaps the USA and outlying islands, I should say. And also, we had Jill Jackson on a couple of weeks ago, and she was mentioning the mystic and the medium. So if you want to talk a little bit about that and let everybody give them a reminder of what you have going on there too, that'd be great.
Yes. Okay. Well, what time do we have to go to break? At 8:30? Is that correct?
Yeah. We've got about 5 minutes.
Okay. So we'll talk about the travels first. And I think I want to save Mystic and Medium till after the break, because I'm so excited about that. It may take more time. Okay. Well, I'm in Asheville most of the time when I'm here. Well, a lot. Anyway, I do a lot of my classes here, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a lot of stones here, and I have a lot of inventory here, and we have a lot of I have a warehouse, which I know that you brought Best American Psychics group. When you had your retreat, you came to the Stone School, and you also know what the warehouse looks like. And so I have a lot of stones that are here where people can actually kind of come in and hang out with them. And so that's a coup for coming here or to New York City. However, every November, I go to Pennsylvania. I was born and bred in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and I go up there for 10 days and I do a tour called the Return to Roots Tour. I do psychic readings and I teach classes. I do lectures, appearances, book signings, the whole thing. And so that is coming up in November if anybody's interested. Now, a lot of the topics, Shay, that I cover a lot of different type of topics, but they're all stone related. So I have an angel program, and it's the stones relating to the angels. I have manifestation, and that's about the stones. I have psychic, I have Reiki, I have planetary gridding, I have crystal skulls, I have Lemurian seed crystals. And so the common thread are the stones. And one thing I do promise people is that if I don't know anything about a topic, I won't teach on it, because I have no business doing that. And so the topics that I do list, I do have extensive years of study. And I will not tell a lie. I'm going to be turning 50 in June, and it's really stressing me out because it's 50. But I also have to stop, and I have to take stock in the fact, like, wow, I've been doing this since I've been 17. So, I'm kind of revisiting a lot of the avenues that I study. And if people know me, they know that I really work a lot, and my passion is in my work, and that I have devoted myself to extensive studies in certain areas. And so that's why there's all these different topics out there in case people have wondered. Now, I am going to Japan actually 3 times this year, and I have a group from Japan coming in September. So that's going to take up a big chunk of my time this year. But I'm also going to Florida. Yes, I'm going to Florida in April, and that's with the Mystic Medium Tour, which I think we'll talk about when I get back from break. But we'll be going to Florida, and then there's 2 really cool venues coming up in Asheville at a place called the Om Sanctuary, and I'm doing a venue there with Jill. And then also we are going back a research group. I've started a planetary gridding research group where we go to a remote place and we clean it up and we do all of our earth chakra stuff. And we are a research group that takes before and after pictures, and we are creating a documentary of our work. And one of my favorite places to go is to Bimini Island in the Bahamas. And I've gone there twice before, and it looks like we're headed back again this year to do our planetary gridding, was working with earth chakras and helping rebalance ourselves as human beings with the planet. So that's this year. Next year, we're looking at Arizona, probably Bimini again, Japan, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and California.
Wow. When do you sleep? On planes, trains, and not in automobiles. I do a lot of driving. I drive a lot because I like to take my rocks with me. But on the plane, I sleep on the plane. Indeed. Many planes. All right. Good deal. Well, folks, we are getting ready to take another break, our second break of the evening, and we are here tonight with Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. She can be found at therockgirl.com, and she can also be found at sacredstoneschool.com with all of her classes, workshops, courses. There's also a nifty events calendar on both of those websites if you'd like to check them out. And of course, you can go on Facebook. Allison's got a very active Facebook page called Sacred Stone School there as well. And there's all kinds of fun stuff posted on that. So, feel free to go check that out. And then when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit more about Mystic and Medium. And I really want to dive into the Rock Girl Unleashed and figure out what you are going to be sharing with us on your upcoming radio show. So definitely stay tuned, folks. You're not going to want to miss this. This is Shay Parker, Best of the Best. We'll be right back with Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl. Stay tuned.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is Shay Parker, your host of Best of the Best. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on this very special show. We have with us Allison Hayes, the rock girl, and she is actually going to be a guest host right here on Best of the Best, the first Tuesday of every single month with her brand new, well, actually it's not a brand new show, but it's a brand new show for this particular network called The Rock Girl Unleashed. So if those of you, if anyone out there is just now tuning in, Allison's websites are therockgirl.com as well as sacredstoneschool.com. So Allison, before the break, we were talking a little bit about, we mentioned your partner in crime, Jill M. Jackson, who is also a guest host right here on Best of the Best with Connect Soul to Soul. And I know that you guys have kind of teamed up to do Mystic and Medium, which can be found at mysticandmedium.com. So I want to do two things in this segment of the show before we have to go to our next break. I'd like to talk about the Rock Girl Unleashed, and I'd also like to talk about Mystic and Medium. So whatever you would like to cover first, you're the guest, and I'll leave that up to you. So.
Oh, okay. Well, what are we doing in the last segment of the show?
Well, the last segment is quite short, and I think we'll just wing it. So whatever you want to do is fine with me.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about mysticandmedium.com first. And I'm so lucky because when I go to get URLs, I got therockgirl.com, I got sacredstoneschool.com, and mysticandmedium.com was available, so we snapped that up. So yes, Jill M. Jackson is a fellow psychic on Best American Psychic, and I know that she was awarded Best Psychic of the Year again this year, so congratulations, Jill. She certainly deserves it. She's amazing. And it kind of just happened by chance. She's also Asheville-based, and we decided to kind of team up. Actually, the Best American Psychics Retreat was here a couple of years ago, and you guys did a gallery, and then she was here and she asked me if I wanted to do one with her, and it was, I guess, a year ago in January we started it, and it was freezing cold at this Masonic temple, and we did this gallery, and it was really fun. And I do the psychic messages and Jill does the mediumship messages, and so Jill is an amazing psychic and she's an amazing medium, and it's a privilege to work with her. And I think we just kind of clicked, and it was actually so much fun. So then we decided to do another one last September, and putting together events like that are always bumpy, but it was she was going one way, I was going another, and it came together, and we did it at this place called the Altamont Theater. And I remember our stage was kind of higher and closer together, and I was able to stand like right next to her, and so it worked out great because I would do 3 psychic messages, and then she would do 3 mediumistic messages, and it was almost like a dance. And I thought, this is so cool. I mean, I've done galleries before at expos and whatnot, and something just clicked. And she said, do you want to kind of make this kind of a thing? And I said, awesome. And it was her mom who came up with the name Mystic and Medium. So yay, Gail, thank you for that. And it just kind of really took on a life of its own. And long story short, we are going to Florida to do galleries down there. We're also creating a weekend of healing, because when we delivered the psychic messages, which is about the past, present, future of how someone can actualize and get more out of this lifetime, and then she delivers the mediumistic, connecting to loved ones, we realized what a magical thing occurred in the room. There was healing on all levels, above and below, earthly plane, divine plane. People had healing and guidance in this lifetime here, and they were also able to connect to their loved ones on the other side. So all of this information came flooding through. The room filled up with this amazing energy, and it literally sparkled. I know you were there. I know Angel was there. A lot of my students were there. A lot of Jill's clients were there, and it was just such a magical combination of energy that we said, let's keep doing this, and we got really great feedback. And so in the future, we're doing Friday night gallery. Saturday, we're teaching a workshop. I'm going to teach in the morning. She's going to teach in the afternoon. And then we're doing readings all day Saturday and Sunday. And so if anybody is in the Florida area, we are going to Naples, and we're also going to Fort Lauderdale. I believe it's the 1st and 2nd week of April. You can go to mysticandmedium.com and check out the list of events. Now, we also secured a 4-day event in Asheville in June, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And we're going to be doing gallery workshops, readings at Sanctuary in Asheville, which is this really cool place. And we're going back there. I think it's the 3rd weekend in November. And we'll be there as well. And I know that next year in 2017, we have a lot of exciting events already booked on the roster. We're going back to Florida, Asheville, and we're going to go to California. And we have some really other exciting news in the works, so stay tuned. I have to say that I've worked with a lot of mediums and I respect them all, but Jill is very, very special because she sparkles. And I told her I'd say this tonight on the radio. I asked her if it was okay, because when she speaks, she has this really great voice. And when she channels in spirit, I can actually see the energy and the sparkle dust going up. And it's just so cool to be that close to someone who sparkles. And so clearly I have more earth-based energy and I kind of stomp. If anybody who ever heard me in my house go up and down the stairs, I'm more of a stomper, but she's a sparkler. And like I said, it's a really, really cool energy. And to watch the people walk out of the venue so well balanced and healed and excited and connected, not only to themselves and to spirit, but also to each other, is really an amazing thing. So can you tell I'm excited?
Just a little bit. No, that's great though, because it is, I mean, I've been to several of the events with you ladies, and it is, it's a wonderful thing to see the audience participate, but also really get something out of it, because, you know, there are psychics and mediums out there who, I've been to many of these different galleries, if you will, and I've seen a lot of them on YouTube or this or that. And oftentimes, you know, people can get certain hits, but they don't necessarily deliver fully developed messages. And watching Jill and watching you guys definitely are able to deliver evidential information, but you also always deliver the actual message from spirit or from the departed loved one, which is, I believe, and you know I believe this, critically important, because, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, I have a John in the room, or I have a Charlie in the room, and that's great, but why is Charlie there? You know, what does Charlie want? What does Charlie have to say? And, you know, there's a lot of people who say that they're mediums, and perhaps they are, but, you know, if you're not delivering a completely developed message, then it's kind of like, okay, well, what's the point? You know, so it really is something pretty special to watch both of you be able to deliver messages, not only from departed loved ones, but also directly from spirit, which you're really getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the psychic messages and the mediumship messages. So it's really amazing to watch. And I would recommend anybody out there, if you have the ability to attend a Mystic and Medium event, you know, or perhaps even host a Mystic and Medium event. I mean, that would be really cool too. If you're in an area and you have like a metaphysical bookstore or a metaphysical following or anything like that, and you would like to host the Mystic and Medium at your place of business, and obviously the details would have to be worked out on all counts, but, you know, I would highly recommend it if you have a venue that would suffice for them, because it really is fantastic. So.
Yeah. And I just want to make it clear, like, I just do the psychic part and Jill is the medium. So, you know, my part in this dynamic duo, if you will, because we're really two parts of the whole, and it's great balance, is to deliver messages to you on the earthly plane about your past, present, and future, and help get you guidance. But Jill, she does the mediumship and I do the psychic stuff. So it is, you know, it's separate. Am I a medium and do I deliver messages? Yes. But in this case, it's all Jill. So, and she is amazing at it. So I'm honored to work with her. So I just don't want people confusing it, because if you look at the website, it's mysticandmedium.com, and she's the one in the etheric colors, and I'm kind of there in black. So it's funny because we had like 5 outfits for that shoot today, and it's the one that stuck. And I'm like, oh, I'm in black again. But I guess that's the earthly plane. So it's kind of funny how things take on a life of their own. So that is the mystic and medium.
Yeah, well, now with that, could you tell the listeners how, like if they were to attend an event like that, how would they go about getting a reading? I mean, what's the setup for that?
Oh, okay. Actually, it was Jill's idea. When you come in and check in, you obviously are on the list and you check in. There'll be someone at the table and they'll say, are you interested in getting a psychic reading tonight? And most everybody says yes. And we give them a ticket, okay, with a number on it. And then as we go in there, the way it works is Jill and I both get up, we introduce ourselves so people know who's who. And I think I'm the one who usually starts because it's the psychic part. And I will pull a number out of this really beautiful bowl, and I'll say, okay, who has number 114? And whoever has number 114 steps into the center up to the microphone, and then I start the reading. And so, say, for example, Susan has 114. Can you please come, stand up, and what is your question? And then I'll launch into the reading. Now, Jill, being a medium, when it's her turn, I do 3 readings, and then she does 3 readings. And so she will connect to spirit and bring it through someone from the other side that way. And in a true mediumistic fashion, the person comes through, and then the person in the audience, the person who has passed over comes through, and then someone in the audience, connects to that. And then Jill obviously channels these beautiful healing messages. So it's done. What's really cool, Shay, and you were there, is that they get a taste of both the psychic and the medium and the different modalities in which the messages are delivered. So it's really, a lot of people, they get, a lot out of this because they can get psychic messages and mediumistic messages. And they can also see, the tickets are $44. And so for $44, they get 2.5 hours, in a room full of amazing energies and really collectively, whether you get a reading or not, it's a tremendously healing experience because above and below the energies do come in and it embraces you in this wonderful energy. And also, we do, I think, 2 hours of readings, and then we always leave a half an hour later for questions because the audience has questions, and we want to get to know the audience, and we want to connect to the audience. And so we always like them to come forth with their questions so we have an ability to connect.
Yeah, no, and it's perfect. It really is a phenomenal event. And, I'm really excited that you guys are hitting different locations in the U.S. So, folks, I am Shay Parker. This is Best of the Best. We are here tonight with Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl, at therockgirl.com and sacredstoneschool.com. We'll be right back after the break.
This is OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Come on down. You're the next listener of the Joe Show's second annual Salute to Game Shows, Price is Right, Uncensored. A 2-part series airing on Wednesday, March 9th and Wednesday, March the 16th. We will take you back all the way to September 4th, 1972, the first day Price is Right aired on CBS. The Joe Show speaks with longtime former producer Roger Dobkowitz, $1 Million Spectacular announcer Randy West, and longtime former Price is Right legendary host Bob Barker. So mark down Wednesday, March 9th and Wednesday, March 16th, 9 p.m. Eastern, OMTimes Radio on The Joe Show.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Guest host of Best of the Best. She is going to be guest hosting the first Tuesday of every single month with The Rock Girl Unleashed. Now, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but I want to remind everybody that if you are just maybe tuning in just now or you haven't been paying attention during the show, Allison Hayes can be found at therockgirl.com, also sacredstoneschool.com. And before the break, we were talking about an upcoming set of events that Allison will be doing with a fellow Best American Psychics member as well as a fellow co-host on this very show, Best of the Best, Jill M. Jackson. They're going to be doing mystic and medium events, which includes coming to different areas throughout the United States, giving psychic and mediumship messages to the audience. Also, they're going to fold in some lectures and some workshops and some private readings, and they might be coming to an area near you. So if you're interested in having them, definitely check out mysticandmedium.com. And, contact them if you have a venue close by that you'd like them to come to, or perhaps if you would like to attend one of their events that they've got coming up. And, also be sure to join their newsletter and such, because who knows, they might be coming to an area near you and you could definitely check them out. So, all right. Well, without further ado, we have got to get to the Rock Girl Unleashed. We've got about 10 minutes left in the show. And Allison, I want you to tell everybody what they can expect on your show that will air right here on this very network, this very night, the first Tuesday of every single month on the Rock Girl Unleashed.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, the Rock Girl Unleashed, empowering the wild within. One thing I like to do is have fun. And I want it to be a fun show. And I had this show on another radio network before, and it was really fun. And I know that a lot of times when people kind of step into the metaphysical and all the stuff, they feel like they have to be serious and they have to be really good and they have to be pure and perfect. And if not, then they kind of fall off the wagon. And so when people want to fall off the wagon, they just come to the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School and get a new wagon, because it's all about being human, making mistakes, and overcoming them. And so on the Rock Girl Unleashed, it's about unleashing your soul and getting in touch with your soul. And a lot of people, especially, when they come to my school, they're just like, oh, I'm not really good at this. I'm not really good at that. Well, just be good at being yourself. And so on the show, I said there's laughter, there's fun, there's tears, and it's about like loosening your belt and just kind of unleashing your soul, taking a really good look at it. We're going to be exploring a lot of different topics, like a hot topic is change. I mean, how many people are afraid of change, resistant to change? We take a look at why they're resistant to change. I have a segment coming up called The Power of No, how to be able to say no when you really mean no. Like, I don't want to do that. and so it's about looking at everyday topics, but from a very human point of view and having fun with yourself. And most importantly, talking about passion. And I always tell people, listen, what are you passionate about? Because we talk about working out and keeping our bodies into shape and eating right and about nutrition for our body. And on this show, I want to talk about nutrition for the soul. A lot of us are spiritually starving. We're eating all the right things, exercising, getting enough sleep, but we're spiritually starving. And one of the huge missing ingredients, Shay, is passion. And I'm passionate about my cup of coffee in the morning. A lot of people call me up and they're just like, what is my life purpose? And I'm like, you know what? We have many purposes. Let's take a look and see what the guides want to do and connect you to now. And so we're going to be having discussions about topics like that. I'm going to be having really interesting guests on, like next week, March 1st. I'm having a fabulous woman on the show, and she's going to talk about igniting her passion as well. And if you go to the Sacred Stone School page and click on the upcoming event, you can read all about Jane. She's actually really cool, and she lights candles on fire, and she's from Colorado, and she's just really passionate. And so the guests on my show are going to be people who have passions about something. I'm passionate about my horse. I'm clearly passionate about my stones. I'm passionate about looking out the window every day. Do you know that when I first moved here, I used to sleep until 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and now I'm so passionate about waking up and looking at the sunrise. And so they don't have to be big passions. They could be little everyday simmering passions. And that's what the show is about. And I love to ask people, what is your most untamable moment? What is something that you would just normally in your everyday polite contained life not do, but what is your untamable moment, or what do you think about as your most untamable moment? And usually if you follow that thread, it leads to the passion that will ignite and light your soul on fire. So that's what this show is about.
Yeah, well, that is that's a big ticket to fill right there. The passion of the soul. That, like you said, the soul has many, many, many purposes, and I think that letting people really stop and think about that, because I wonder in someone's daily life how many times they actually think about, what is my soul passionate about? You know what I mean? Like, I would venture to say that as a general rule, people probably don't go through life every day thinking about that, because they get stuck in the monotony of what they do. I've got to get up. I've got the 9 to 5. I've got to, get the kids ready for school. I've got to do the dishes. I've got to vacuum the house. I've got to this. I've got to that. And you kind of forget the bigger picture in all of that. So, and I'm sure you probably come across that a lot with your clientele.
Yeah, and my clientele is a lot of them have raised their children, they've retired, they're looking, they don't have a job anymore, or they don't have their old job anymore, and they want to know what is it that I can do, and then they fold in the shoulds. Well, I should do this and I should do that, and I say, you know what? You can curse all you want when you come to the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School, but there's one word that I will not permit in here, and it's the word should. Okay. Every time you say should, it's probably something that's a duty that you think you really should do. And that's pinching your life force. I want to hear what you want to do. I want to hear what you're passionate about. And we take a look at that. And so really the Rock Girl Unleashed, Empowering Your Wild Within, is that untamable moment, the moment that ignites your soul on fire, and it feeds your soul. It's the nutrition for your soul. And so we're going to have a little bit of the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School in every show. And I'm going to pull in really cool guests and pick their brains. And I know that we don't have the ability to have callers come in, but I'm going to encourage them to go to my Facebook page, Sacred Stone School Facebook page, and we'll have a chat room open, and I'll be answering questions that people have. You can write into info@therockgirl.com with your questions, and we'll be answering them live on air. And again, a lot of people say, I want to know what my purpose is, my life's purpose. Well, your life's purpose could include being an amazing parent, being an amazing boss, being an amazing, taxi cab driver. Just be amazing at what you love doing and being alive. There's an art to driving a cab. I've lived in New York City for years, and some of the cab drivers were the most inspiring and intelligent and exciting human beings. They've seen so many things, and I loved hearing their stories. I would just say, take the long way through Central Park, please. And so it's really about finding your passion, and it doesn't have to be something life-altering like jumping out of a plane or doing something crazy. It could be just doing something that you really love and love doing it.
So now, obviously, we've got about 2 minutes left in the show. So let's turn this back to okay. Well, you probably can't answer this in 2 minutes, but what would you say your most untamable moment was?
I was supposed to ask you that question. My most, well, there's one untamable moment that I really can't disclose on air. I have to say that it happened, I do believe, somewhere back in 2009. That was completely untamable. And I guess that I've had kind of a domino effect of the untamable after that. And I think there's a common thread. It's jumping into the unknown and trusting that spirit has my back and being open to change. Years ago, I said I would never move. I would never fly on a plane again after 9/11. I would never drive more than 2 hours by myself, and I'd never go to Japan. And so whenever I say the N word, the never word, my challenge is presented, and it's really overcoming obstacles and challenges and turning them into triumphs. But I have to say, one of my most untamable moments was going to Japan. I was terrified. Another one, I think, Shay, now that you asked me that question, I have like an untamable moment every other day. But one of my most memorable one in the last, 18, 24 months is getting on my horse, getting a horse, and then riding a horse. Because the last time I was on a horse, I was 15, and I never thought I'd ride again. And when I tell you, I got on my horse and I cried like a baby because I just never thought that I would feel that connection again. And I was just walking him around the arena. But, it is, I have series of those. I know we only have 30 seconds left.
We're probably running low on that. But, folks, you've been listening tonight to Allison Hayes, the Rock Girl at therockgirl.com. And, Allison, I love that untamable moment, especially with the horse involved. So, folks, don't forget, go to therockgirl.com and sacredstoneschool.com to check out Allison. If you missed any of tonight's show, it will be up in archives tomorrow right here on OMTimes.com. And, guess that's it. We're out of here. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Be sure to tune in next week for more lively discussion topics. Have a great week, and don't forget to check out bestamericanpsychics.com in case you need some professional, ethical, and accurate psychic advice from the nation's best psychics. Until next week, take care of yourself.